gentle dreamers to mythology for sleep. Tonight, we journey back to the very beginning, to a time when the sky god Uranus ruled. Our story, The Overthrow of Uranus, tells of a great cosmic shift. From these ancient, turbulent waters, a goddess of beauty and love will gently emerge, bringing a touch of wonder to our quiet night. Let's drift into this ancient tale now. But just before we begin, if our stories help you drift off, please tap the like and subscribe buttons. In my channel, you can find Norse, Greek, and other mythology tales. So comment and tell me which myth you'd like to hear next. Your support helps us craft and shape more calm stories for fellow night owls. And now let your shoulders sink softly into the mattress and your mind drift into today's tale. The ancient world began in a quiet, boundless space. Before time, before light, there was only a deep, profound stillness. Then, from this great emptiness, two vast beings slowly emerged. Gaia, the earth, was a warm, living presence. Her deep green valleys stretched to distant, misty horizons. She held tall mountains. Their peaks touched the very heavens. Uranus, the sky, arched high above her gentle form. He was a cloak of shimmering blue, studded with bright, watchful stars. His vastness embraced her, a silent, all-encompassing embrace. Their union brought forth the first of many powerful beings. These were the elder children, born of cosmic dust and starlight. They possessed immense strength, ancient wisdom, and deep magic. First came the Titans, 12 magnificent children. Oceanus, the eldest, flowed with the world's waters. Tethys, his sister, nurtured all fresh springs and rivers. Cronus, the Titan of intellect, held vast knowledge. Phoebe, bright and luminous, shone with prophecy. Hyperion, the sun's father, brought brilliant, golden light. Theia, his radiant mate, gave precious gems their sparkle. Cronus, a watchful pillar, held the constellation steady. Apetus, a strong, unyielding force, embodied mortal toil. Mnemosyne, the gentle one, remembered all things. Themis, wise and just, brought forth divine law. Finally, Cronus and Rhea completed this mighty first generation. Cronus, the youngest, held a scythe. He possessed immense power. Rhea, his sister, was a nurturing mother figure. Their presence filled the nascent cosmos with energy. Yet other children followed, different and fearsome. Next came the Cyclopes, 3 brothers of immense stature. Brontes, Steropes, and Arges were their names. Each Cyclops had only one large, piercing eye. This single eye glowed with fiery, inner power. They were master smiths, their hands shaped lightning bolts. Their craftsmanship was unmatched throughout creation. Thunder and lightning were their special domain. They forged mighty tools for the gods themselves. Last came the Hecaton chairs, the 100-handed ones. Briareus, Cottus, and Gyges were their names. They were truly gigantic, beyond all imagining. Each brother possessed 50 enormous heads. 100 powerful arms extended from their bodies. Their strength was boundless. They could move mountains. Uranus, the sky, looked upon his children. He saw the beautiful Titans, mighty and strong. But then his gaze fell upon the others. The Cyclopes, with their single, burning eyes, frightened him. The Hecaton chairs, with their countless heads and limbs, filled him with dread. He feared their immense power. A dark shadow fell over his bright, starry form. He could not bear to look upon these monstrous children. A terrible, cruel decision began to form within him. He decided they must never see the light. He would hide them away, far from his sight. He would cast them deep within the earth's very core. Uranus opened his vast form. He tore a great chasm. Into this dark abyss, he thrust his own children. He imprisoned them in Tartarus, the deepest pit. Tartarus was a place of eternal gloom and pain. It lay far beneath the roots of the world. No light reached there. No sound escaped its depths. Gaia, the earth, felt her children's cries. Their pain reverberated deep within her being. She felt their suffering as her own agony. Her heart ached with profound, motherly sorrow. She could not bear this terrible injustice. Her vast body trembled with silent grief. Uranus remained unyielding, a vast, oppressive weight. He continued to hold his children captive. His fear had turned him into a tyrant. Gaia's sorrow slowly turned into a quiet anger. A deep, burning resentment grew within her. She longed for freedom, for justice to prevail. The remaining Titans felt the heavy burden too. They walked upon their mother's pained surface. They heard the faint, distant cries of their kin. A subtle tension filled the ancient, cosmic air. The very fabric of creation seemed to strain. Gaia knew something had to change. She began to think of a way, a desperate plan. She would seek a champion among her children, one who might challenge Uranus's cruel reign. Her silent pleas drifted through the dark earth. They reached the hearts of her powerful offspring. A new chapter of cosmic struggle was about to begin. Deep within the earth, a mother's heart ached, a silent, ancient sorrow. Gaia, the vast, verdant earth, groaned softly in her slumber. Her pain was not of rock or root. It was the unbearable burden of her imprisoned children. Uranus, the starry sky, had cast them away. He feared their immense power, their wild, untamed forms. So he pushed them down into the deepest, darkest parts of her being. The mighty Cyclopes, with their single, blazing eyes, lay trapped. The fearsome Hecatoncairs, with their 100-strong hands, were also held captive. Their muffled cries echoed through Gaia's very core. This constant suffering weighed heavily upon her. It was a pressure, a profound ache that never truly subsided. She longed for release, for freedom for her beloved offspring. High above, her other children watched and listened. The powerful Titans, though free, sensed their mother's agony. They felt the tremors of her sorrow, the deep, resonant hum of her pain. Oceanus, the eldest, sighed like the restless sea waves. Cous, the wise, pondered the injustice in quiet contemplation. Rhea, gentle and nurturing, wept silent tears for her lost brothers, but fear held them all in its icy grip. Uranus's power was absolute, his wrath, swift and terrible. Who among them dared defy the boundless sky? Then a low rumble began deep within Gaia. It wasn't thunder, it was her voice, rising from the earth's very foundations. It spoke not in words, but in a feeling, a desperate maternal plea. My children, her silent voice resonated through the world. You must help me. I can bear this pain no longer. Release your siblings, free me from this torment. A hush fell over the Titans. Their hearts pounded like distant drums. They looked at each other, their eyes reflecting fear and uncertainty. The task seemed impossible, the risk too great. No one moved forward. No one spoke. The vast silence stretched, broken only by the soft whisper of the wind through the ancient trees. Hope flickered, then began to wane. Then one of them stirred. It was Cronus, the youngest of the male Titans. He was clever, often brooding, with a sharp mind that saw beyond mere strength. He had watched his father's cruelty. He had felt his mother's suffering. A cold determination hardened his heart. This injustice it could not stand. With a slow, deliberate movement, Cronus stepped forward. His gaze was firm, his jaw set. He looked at his mother, the vast earth, and then at his fearful siblings. Mother, he declared, his voice cutting through the silence, I will do it. I will free our brothers. I will end this tyranny. A tremor of relief, like a soft sigh, passed through Gaia. From her depths, she brought forth a powerful tool. It was a sickle not of common metal, but of gleaming adamantine. Its blade curved like a crescent moon. Its edge shimmered with an otherworldly light. It was sharper than any blade ever forged, unbreakable, infused with ancient magic. Take this, my son, Gaia's voice echoed in his mind. It is the only weapon strong enough. Use it wisely. Use it to sever the bonds of oppression. Cronus reached out and grasped the sickle. Its weight was surprisingly light, its handle smooth and true. A surge of power flowed through him, a cold, unyielding resolve. His siblings watched, a mixture of awe and terror in their eyes. They knew the gravity of this moment. The fate of the cosmos now rested on Cronus's shoulders. He spent the day in quiet preparation. The air grew heavy with anticipation. The stars began to appear, one by one, signaling the approach of night. As darkness deepened, Uranus descended from the heavens. He came to embrace Gaia, as was his custom. He was oblivious, unsuspecting of the rebellion brewing below. His vast, starry form stretched across the world. He enveloped Gaia in his cosmic embrace, his presence filling the night with his arrogant power. But this night was different. This night, a shadow moved within the embrace. Cronus, hidden and silent, waited for the opportune moment. With a swift, decisive motion, he raised the adamantine sickle. The blade flashed in the starlight. He struck a blow that echoed through the very fabric of existence. Uranus cried out, a sound that ripped through the cosmos. It was a shriek of pain, of disbelief, of ultimate defeat. The boundless sky recoiled. His essence, his power, spilled forth. Blood, not red, but luminous and vital, rained down upon the earth. It mingled with Gaia's soil, sparking new life. From the droplets that splattered upon Gaia's fertile ground, formidable beings sprang forth. The fearsome Uranus, or Furies, rose, born of vengeance and retribution. They were terrible to behold, with serpent hair and fiery eyes. They would forever pursue those who committed acts of patricide, those who shed familial blood. From other drops, the mighty gigantes, the giants, emerged. They were earth-born warriors, destined for future conflict. And the graceful Melie, the ash tree nymphs, also came into being. The separation was complete. Sky no longer pressed down on earth. Gaia breathed a sigh of immense relief. Her pain lessened, her spirit soared. Cronus stood victorious, the sickle still in his hand. He had achieved the impossible. He had overthrown the tyrant. He had freed his mother. A new age had begun. Cronus, the youngest, now held supreme power. But the echoes of his father's cry and the birth of the Furies hinted at a cycle yet to unfold. Still, Mother Gaia groaned. Her deep sorrow echoed through the earth. Each tremor spoke of her pain. She felt the heavy weight of her children. Uranus, her consort, had pushed them down. He feared their immense power. He kept them hidden deep within her. Her heart ached with their silent cries. Her tears became underground rivers. Her sighs stirred the gentle breezes. She longed for their freedom. She yearned for quiet peace. But Uranus remained ever watchful. His star-filled gaze pierced the darkness. Gaia called out softly. Her voice was like a whisper. It traveled through the dark caverns. "My children," she murmured. "Will no one help me?" She waited for an answer. Only silence replied at first. The vastness held its breath. Most of the Titans trembled. They feared their father's wrath. Uranus was a mighty sky god. His power seemed limitless. He held dominion over all. They dared not challenge him. Their fear bound them tightly. Yet one son listened intently. He heard his mother's plea. This was Cronus, the youngest. He was not like his brothers. A quiet strength resided within him. He felt his mother's suffering. A deep unease stirred his soul. He felt the heavy burden. He saw his mother's tears. A new resolve began to grow. It hardened in his young heart. He would not stand idly by. He would answer her desperate call. His courage started to awaken. Gaia sensed his stirring. She reached out to him. Her voice grew a bit stronger. "My brave son, Cronus," she whispered, "I need your strong hand." She spoke of a dire deed. It would bring freedom to them all. "I will help you, Mother," Cronus said. His voice was firm now. "Tell me what must be done." His resolve was clear. Gaia smiled then, a faint light. Hope flickered within her. She knew he was the chosen one. She told him of a plan. It was born of deep sorrow. "From my own body," she explained, "I will bring forth a weapon. It would be a mighty sickle. No earthly metal could match it. It would shine with dark power." Deep within her core, she worked. The very earth groaned anew. Molten rock began to flow. Strange minerals began to form. They shimmered with ancient magic. Gaia shaped them with her will. A dark, gleaming blade appeared. It was made of adamant. This was the hardest substance. It was sharper than any sword. It curved like a crescent moon. Its edge gleamed dangerously. This was the weapon of destiny. Cronus reached out his hand. He felt its cool, heavy weight. Power hummed within the blade. It pulsed with earthy magic. This was no ordinary tool. It was forged for a grim purpose. He gripped it with firm resolve. His determination solidified. "Now, my son," Gaia instructed. Her voice was low and urgent. "You must wait for the moment." She explained her careful plan. Uranus would soon descend. He would seek her embrace. This was his nightly routine. He would come from the heavens. He would cover her completely. His starry form would envelop her. He would bring the dark night. This was his time of vulnerability. Cronus listened to every word. He understood his grim task. A chill wind swept the land. The sky began to darken. Stars began to appear. Uranus was on his way. His celestial presence approached. A vast shadow stretched across. It covered the waiting world. Cronus found his hiding place. He nestled close to his mother. He felt her ancient heartbeat. It pulsed with quiet anticipation. The adamantine sickle was ready. Its sharp edge awaited its moment. The air grew thick with tension. Then Uranus descended fully. He stretched across the earth. His starry body enfolded Gaia. He was unaware of the plot. He was lost in his own pleasure. His bright eyes closed in bliss. The world became very still. Cronus held his breath. He clutched the mighty sickle. His heart pounded like a drum. This was the moment of truth. He would free his imprisoned siblings. He would end his mother's pain. His hand rose in the darkness. The deep earth pulsed with a muted rhythm. Cronus stood alone in the cool, subterranean chamber. Gaia's voice, a soft hum, still resonated within him. She had chosen him. He felt her ancient trust. The curved blade pulsed gently in his hand. It was not of mortal make. No earthly forge could shape such metal. This sickle, crafted by Gaia, gleamed with primal power. It felt strangely light, yet immensely significant. He thought of his siblings, hidden away. They waited. Their whispered hopes rested upon his shoulders. He thought too of his father, Uranus, the starry sky. Uranus, who had cast their monstrous kin into Tartarus's depths. A profound sorrow mingled with his growing resolve. This was a task born of necessity, not malice. The very balance of the cosmos demanded it. He took a slow, deep breath, tasting the damp, mineral air. Night cloaked the world above. Uranus, tired from his day-long embrace of Gaia, would soon descend. He would seek rest in the deepest, most shadowed parts of the cosmos. This was the moment Cronus awaited. He moved silently, a shadow among shadows. The earth itself seemed to guide his steps. He passed through caves where ancient stalactites dripped. Their echoes sounded like soft, warning whispers. The air grew cooler, heavier still. He felt the immense presence of Gaia all around him. She was the earth beneath his feet, the quiet hum in his bones. Her sorrow for her imprisoned children fueled his purpose. Her love for her free children empowered him. Finally, he reached the chasm's edge. This was a place of profound darkness. Here, the veil between realms grew thin. Uranus often lingered here before retreating fully into the night. A faint, distant starlight filtered down. He saw his father then. Uranus was vast, shimmering with cosmic dust. He stretched across the vast expanse. His celestial form was both beautiful and terrifying. He was the boundless sky, the starry night. Uranus descended slowly, settling into the cosmic void. He was weary from holding the universe in place. His starlit eyes were closed in slumber. He was unaware of the silent figure poised near him. Cronus clutched the sickle tighter. Its edge hummed with a faint, almost imperceptible vibration. He felt a tremor of fear, a son about to confront his father. But the fear was quickly swallowed by his duty. This was not a personal vendetta. This was an act of cosmic reordering. Gaia's pain, his siblings' suffering, these were the weights upon the scales. He could not falter now. The moment had arrived. With a surge of ancient strength, Cronus moved. He was swift, silent, like the wind itself. The sickle rose, glinting with a cold, celestial light. It arced through the cosmic darkness. There was no time for hesitation. A gasp, a sound that resonated through the void. It was not a cry of pain, but of profound shock. Uranus stirred, his starlit eyes opening wide. They reflected a sudden, terrible understanding. The deed was done. The vast, ethereal form of Uranus recoiled. His celestial essence began to separate from Gaia. A deep, resonant sigh passed through the cosmos. It was a sound of release, of sorrow. From Uranus's wounds, a vital essence spilled. It glittered like liquid stars, falling onto the fertile earth. With each drop, new life began to stir. Gaia received these cosmic seeds into her ancient being. From the spilled essence, 3 formidable beings arose, the Uranus. They were the Furies, dark and vengeful. Their hair was a writhing mass of serpents. Their eyes burned with an eternal, righteous anger. They would punish all who spilled kindred blood. Then, from the same cosmic essence, the gigantes were born. These were the giants, colossal and strong. Their forms were like mountains, their voices like thunder. They would one day challenge the new order. And finally, from the ash tree came the Melii. These were the gentle tree nymphs. They embodied the spirit of the ash, resilient and enduring. They would watch over the forests of the world. The sky, now free of Uranus's constant embrace, began to rise. It separated fully from the earth. A new space opened between them, vast and full of promise. The cosmos was reshaped, forever altered. Cronus stood, the sickle still in his hand. The weight of his actions settled upon him. He had fulfilled Gaia's plea. The age of Uranus was over. A new era, the age of Titans, had begun. The stars above seemed to shine brighter now. A cool, liberating wind swept through the void. The universe breathed a collective sigh. The balance had been restored for now. The great earth Gaia still mourned. Her ancient heart throbbed with a quiet pain. Deep within her, her children suffered. Uranus had cast them into Tartarus. A mother's grief settled heavily upon her vast form. She felt their cries mute, distant echoes from the very core of the world. The hecaton chairs, with their 100 hands, languished. The cyclopes, with their single, bright eyes, also knew only darkness. Uranus, their father, had betrayed them. He feared their immense power. Gaia turned her thoughts to her remaining children. The mighty Titans still roamed her surface. They were strong, beautiful, and vibrant. Yet, a shadow lay upon their spirits too. They knew of their siblings' plight. One Titan listened most closely of all. Cronus was the youngest of his generation. He possessed a keen mind and a growing ambition. His heart stirred with a different kind of anger. It was a slow, burning flame. Gaia spoke to him in hushed tones. Her voice was like the rustle of leaves. It was soft, yet filled with urgency. "My son," she whispered, "my heart is broken." She shared her deep sorrow. Cronus felt her pain like a tremor. He saw the tears in her great, green eyes. The weight of his mother's suffering was immense. He knew this injustice could not stand. He felt a stir of courage within. "There must be a way," Gaia continued. Her words were barely audible. "We must free your brothers. They need sweet light." She spoke of a drastic, desperate measure. It was a plan born of sorrow. Cronus listened without interruption. He watched the shifting shadows. The air grew heavy with unspoken meaning. He sensed the gravity of her plea. He knew what she was asking. "Uranus, your father, must be stopped," Gaia stated plainly. Her voice gained a slight firmness. "His tyranny knows no bounds." She looked at Cronus with hopeful eyes. He was her last hope. The youngest Titan's brow furrowed slightly. He considered the immense task. To challenge a primordial god, that was a fearsome thought. Yet, his mother's pain was more fearsome still. His resolve began to harden. Gaia then revealed a secret. From within her very being, she drew forth a tool. It was a sickle, curved and gleaming. Its edge shimmered with an otherworldly light. This was no ordinary blade. This is adamantine, she explained softly. Her fingers brushed the cool metal. It is the hardest substance known. She held it out to Cronus. The weapon felt strangely light. He took the sickle into his strong hands. The metal felt cool and smooth. It hummed with a quiet power. This was a weapon for a god. It was meant for a singular purpose. With this, Gia said, her voice a low murmur, you can end his reign. She did not need to speak of the act itself. Cronus understood her meaning perfectly. He grasped the immense responsibility. He looked at the formidable weapon. He then looked at his grieving mother. A quiet strength filled his being. He would not fail her. He would not let his brothers suffer. The other titans were afraid. Oceanus, Cous, Creus, they hesitated. Hyperion and Iapetus felt fear too. They shrank from such a daunting challenge. Their courage faltered. Only Cronus stepped forward. He accepted the dark mission. He understood the terrible necessity. His determination was absolute. He would face his father. He held the sickle close. He felt its silent promise. The night air grew still around them. The world seemed to hold its breath. A profound quiet settled over the land. Uranus, far above, remained unaware. He was lost in his celestial splendor. He basked in his own vast power. He saw no threat in the silent earth. He suspected no rebellion. He ruled the sky with an iron fist. He believed his power was absolute. He thought his children were safely contained. His pride blinded him completely. He knew nothing of their plans. Cronus waited patiently. He waited for the opportune moment. The stars wheeled slowly above. The moon cast long, eerie shadows. The time for action was drawing near. He felt the weight of destiny. He knew this was an irreversible act. His heart beat a steady rhythm. It was a drumbeat of purpose. The world watched, silent and expectant. The air grew heavy with anticipation. A cool breeze whispered through the trees. The earth herself seemed to sigh deeply. She awaited her liberation. She awaited her son's brave deed. Cronus stood ready. He stood firm and resolute. The adamantine sickle gleamed faintly. It was a beacon in the gathering darkness. The night promised a profound change. Gaia, the wide earth, still groaned beneath her burdens. Deep within her stony heart, a sorrow festered. Her beloved children, the mighty hecatoncheires, remained imprisoned. Their cries echoed through her darkest caverns. Uranus, their father, had cast them there. He feared their immense power. She yearned for liberation. She yearned for peace. One by one, she called her Titan children. Their forms were vast, stretching across the world. They listened to her whispered plea. She asked for a champion. Most recoiled from such a terrible task. Uranus was their father. He was the sky itself. Who could challenge such a primal force? Who would dare to defy him? Then young Cronus stepped forward. He stood tall and resolute. His heart stirred with a strange mix of duty and dread. He loved his mother deeply. He felt her pain like his own. He would do what was necessary. He would answer her desperate call. Gaia then revealed her secret plan. It was a dark and difficult path. Only a special tool could achieve it. She spoke of a rare, luminous metal. It lay hidden deep within her core. This metal was adamantine, unyielding and sharp. No ordinary blade could ever cut Uranus. His essence was too vast. His power was too profound. Only adamantine could suffice. She described its shimmering coldness. She spoke of its singular purpose. This weapon would carve a new path. It would sever the ancient ties. It would change everything. Cronus listened with solemn determination. He descended into the earth's depths. He sought out the glowing ore. It pulsed with a quiet, fierce energy. He felt its ancient power. With his mother's guidance, he began the work. He shaped the raw, cold metal. He forged a mighty sickle. Its blade curved like the moon. It gleamed with an inner light. The sickle's edge was impossibly keen. It vibrated with a low hum. This was no common farm tool. This was a weapon of destiny. Its very presence hummed with magic. When it was finished, Cronus held it. The weight felt strangely light. Yet it carried an immense burden. It was the weight of the world. It was the weight of a new age. He thought of his imprisoned brothers. He thought of his suffering mother. His resolve hardened like the blade. He would free them all. He would make things right. Night descended, cloaking the world. Uranus, the sky, stretched above. His starry form was immense. His power pressed down everywhere. The air felt thick and heavy. Cronus moved silently through the darkness. He crept to his appointed place. He waited for his father. The air crackled with tension. A storm seemed to gather. He felt the tremors of earth's sorrow. He felt the cold touch of the sickle. His breath was slow and steady. His heart beat a measured rhythm. This was the moment. Ancient wisdom whispered on the wind. It spoke of cycles and change. It spoke of endings and beginnings. One age must pass away. Another must surely rise. The stars watched from their distant posts. The moon cast a pale glow. All of creation held its breath. The stage was finally set. A new dawn was approaching. After the tumultuous dawn of the new age, a quiet, uneasy peace settled. Cronus, the youngest, now sat upon the cosmic throne. He ruled with a heavy hand, yet also with a growing fear. The vast, starry heavens watched his every move. His reign began with promise. The world seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. But the shadow of a prophecy soon crept into his thoughts. It spoke of a child, his own child, who would one day rise against him. This ancient wisdom, whispered by the fates, filled his heart with dread. Cronus remembered his own father, Uranus, trapped beneath the world. He vowed never to suffer such a fate. His queen, Rhea, bore him beautiful children Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. Each was a beacon of light, a testament to their love. Yet with each birth, Cronus's fear intensified. He felt the prophecy tightening its grip. He could not bear the thought of another betrayal. A terrible decision hardened his heart, turning it to stone. As each precious infant emerged, soft and new, Cronus would take them. He would not allow them to draw a single breath of free air. With a chilling resolve, he swallowed them whole, one after another. Inside his vast, dark belly, he believed them safe from the world. Rhea's grief was boundless, a silent, echoing scream. Her tears flowed like rivers, watering the very earth. Her heart shattered with each child lost, each tiny life consumed. She felt the emptiness, a cavern where her children should have been. Her soul ached, her maternal spirit cried out. She watched the cycle repeat, powerless, heartbroken. The world seemed to dim, reflecting her profound sorrow. She could not endure another such loss. A fierce, quiet determination began to stir within her. She would not let this continue. She sought solace and counsel from her mother, ancient Gaia. Gaia, the Earth Mother, knew the deepest secrets of the cosmos. Rhea poured out her anguish, her voice a whispered plea. Gaia listened with profound understanding. The ancient goddess shared a plan, a glimmer of hope in the overwhelming darkness. It was a risky path, but it was their only chance. Soon, Rhea felt the familiar stirrings of new life. Another child was growing within her, a tiny spark of light. This time, things would be different. She carried her secret clothes, a precious burden. When the time came, Rhea left the palace, seeking a hidden refuge. She journeyed to the island of Crete, a place of wild beauty. There, in a secluded cave, deep within the earth, her sixth child was born. It was a boy, strong and vigorous, with eyes that held the promise of lightning. She named him Zeus. Her heart swelled with a love so fierce, it momentarily eclipsed her sorrow. This child, she vowed, would live. She quickly wrapped him in soft, swaddling clothes. Then, with a heavy heart, she found a large stone. It was a smooth, round stone, similar in size to a newborn. She wrapped it carefully, mimicking the shape of an infant. Rhea returned to Cronus, her face pale but resolute. Her movements were slow, deliberate. She presented the wrapped stone to her husband. Cronus, blinded by his fear, did not look closely. He simply took the bundle. Without a moment's hesitation, he swallowed the stone. He believed he had consumed his sixth child, thus securing his reign forever. A dark satisfaction settled over him. He felt safe, invincible. But Rhea knew the truth. Her precious Zeus was safe, hidden away. She entrusted him to the care of the gentle nymphs of Crete. They would nurture him, protect him from his father's wrath, The Kurites, fierce warrior guardians, also pledged their loyalty. They would dance and clang their spears, their loud music echoing through the caves. This would drown out the baby's cries, keeping his presence a secret. Zeus grew quickly, strong and healthy, nourished by the milk of the goat Amalthea. He was safe, far from his father's reach. Rhea carried the secret of his survival, a tiny flame of hope in her weary soul. She returned to Cronus's side, her grief still visible, but now tinged with a quiet strength. The world continued its slow turn, but beneath the surface, a new power was blossoming, waiting for its time. The prophecy would, in time, be fulfilled. Gaia, the ancient mother, still grieved deeply. Her vast, earthen body trembled with sorrow. She felt her children, the mighty titans, trapped within her. Their powerful forms longed for the sky's light. Uranus, their father, held them captive there. His fear had grown too great to bear. He had pushed them down into the darkness. He feared their strength, their boundless energy. Gaia felt their silent cries, their longing for freedom. Her heart ached for their release. She whispered to them through the deep earth. Her voice was a soft, rumbling lament. "Who among you," she murmured, "will avenge this wrong?" Her plea echoed in the hidden places. It reached each titan deep in their dark prison. A heavy silence first met her words. The titans were mighty, but their father was sky itself. His power seemed absolute. Fear held them, a cold, binding fear. They remembered his vastness, his overwhelming might. But then, a flicker of courage stirred. It began to spread among them. One by one, they felt the injustice. They recalled their mother's pain. Finally, Cronus, the youngest, yet the most resolute, spoke. His voice was steady, though still young. He felt the weight of his mother's sorrow. He saw the injustice of their long confinement. "Mother," he vowed, "I will undertake this deed." His words brought a faint tremor of hope. Gaia felt a surge of ancient strength. She knew Cronus possessed a keen mind. He also held a fierce, unyielding will. He would be the one, her chosen champion. She would help him, providing what he needed. Deep within her boundless depths, Gaia began to work. She gathered the hardest elements of her being. She sought the sharpest, most unyielding minerals. From these, she forged a weapon. It was a curved blade, sharp and gleaming. This was no ordinary tool. It was a sickle, a scythe of adamant. Its edge shone with a cold, pale light. The metal itself seemed to hum softly. It pulsed with her ancient, primal power. This blade was meant for a singular purpose. It was destined to cut through the sky. She brought the sickle forth, presenting it to Cronus. Its weight felt strange, yet powerful in his grasp. The air around it shimmered faintly. "Take this, my son," Gaia whispered. Her voice was imbued with ages of wisdom. "It is forged of my very essence. With it," she continued, "you will confront your father." Cronus nodded, his gaze fixed on the blade. Its sharp curve seemed to promise victory. He felt a new resolve harden within him. The time for action was drawing near. Gaia then spoke of the plan softly, carefully. She detailed how Cronus must act. Uranus would descend that very night. He always came to embrace her form. This was his nightly ritual, his comforting habit. This would be the moment to strike. Cronus listened, absorbing every word. He imagined the vastness of his father. He pictured the dark, star-strewn sky. A shiver ran down his spine. This was a task of immense proportions. It would change the very fabric of existence. He gathered his older siblings, the other Titans. They were his brothers and sisters. He spoke to them of Gaia's pain. He showed them the gleaming sickle. He explained the plan, hushed and low. Their eyes widened with dawning understanding. Some were still hesitant, their faces drawn. Yet they saw the courage in Cronus. They felt the righteousness of their mother's cause. They agreed to help, to hold Uranus down. They would pin him just for a moment. This would give Cronus his chance. As twilight deepened, a hush fell. The air grew still, expectant. The stars began to prickle the vast heavens. Cronus stood ready, the sickle hidden. He waited in the shadowed places. His heart beat with a steady rhythm. The earth beneath him felt alive. It pulsed with Gaia's silent support. He could sense her ancient power surrounding him. It filled him with a strange calm. This was not merely revenge. It was the birth of a new era. The moment approached, slow and inevitable. The sky stretched above, immense and silent. Cronus took a deep, steadying breath. He felt the weight of destiny upon him. The adamant sickle felt cool in his hand. Its sharp edge awaited its task. Soon, Uranus would descend from the high heavens. He would reach down to embrace Gaia. He would be unaware of the change. He would not sense the coming storm. The sky, so vast and all-encompassing, would soon know a new kind of dawn. Cronus gripped the sickle more firmly. He closed his eyes for a brief moment. He remembered his mother's suffering. He recalled the long years of darkness. Then he opened his eyes again. His gaze was steady, fixed on the horizon. The world held its breath, waiting. The ancient cosmos prepared itself. A new chapter was about to unfold. The stage was set for the overthrow. Cronus stood ready, a silent sentinel. The sickle gleamed faintly in the growing dark. The vast, stardusted sky still swirled with formless shadows. Uranus, the sky itself, remained oblivious to the gathering storm. He stretched across the heavens, a boundless, complacent presence. Below, the ancient earth Gaia stirred with patient anticipation. A subtle tremor ran through the very fabric of existence. Cronus, eldest of the Titans, moved with quiet, determined purpose. His footsteps made no sound upon the cosmic dust. He held the great adamantine sickle, its curved blade gleaming faintly. The sickle felt cool and heavy in his strong, young hand. This was the weapon forged by Gaia, his mother, from the very core of the earth. It hummed with ancient power, ready for its grim task. Cronus approached his father, the slumbering sky. He felt a strange mixture of resolve and sorrow. This act, though necessary, would forever change everything. He stood poised for a long moment, breathing in the cold, vast emptiness. Then, with a sudden, swift motion, Cronus moved. The adamantine blade sliced through the swirling mists of creation. It cut deep into the ethereal essence of Uranus. A sharp, echoing cry tore through the cosmic silence. Uranus, the sky, recoiled in shock and agony. His immense form writhed, shattering the primordial darkness. Brilliant, divine ichor, the golden blood of the gods, spilled forth. It rained down from the wounded sky. The bright, shimmering droplets fell like burning stars. They cascaded onto the fertile, outstretched body of Gaia. Where the golden ichor touched the earth, new life stirred. From the deepest parts of Gaia, terrible and beautiful beings began to emerge. They rose from the very essence of pain and upheaval. First came the Erinyes, the Furies, born of Uranus's tormented cries. Their hair was a writhing mass of serpents. Their eyes burned with unyielding, vengeful light. They carried whips of bronze and torches that flickered with eternal fire. These fierce spirits embodied the punishment for patricide. Then the towering gigantes, the giants, lumbered forth. They were mighty beings, born with immense strength and fierce hearts. Their forms were half human, half serpentine. They rose from the earth, their roars shaking the nascent cosmos. These were beings of primal, untamed power. Finally, from the ash trees, the gentle Melii appeared. These were the graceful ash tree nymphs. They embodied the softer, more nurturing aspect of the earth. They whispered ancient secrets among their rustling leaves. They brought a quiet, resilient beauty to the chaotic birth. Uranus, weakened and diminished, began to retreat. His boundless form pulled away from Gaia's embrace. No longer would he press down upon the earth. No longer would he confine her children within her dark womb. He drifted higher, becoming a distant, observing presence. His cries faded into a mournful, echoing whisper. The once dominant sky became a remote, ethereal dome. It stretched over the newly liberated world. A vast, empty space now existed between heaven and earth. This separation was profound and absolute. Cronus stood amidst the swirling remnants of his father's pain. He felt the weight of his new power. The sickle still gleamed in his hand. The air thrummed with the birth pangs of a new era. Chaos had given way to a new, tumultuous order. Gaia, the earth, sighed a deep, resounding sigh of relief. Her long suffering had finally ended. She stretched her vast, green body. New mountains rose, and valleys deepened. Rivers began to carve their paths across her liberated surface. A new age had dawned, an age of titans. Cronus, the youngest son, had become the most powerful. He looked out upon the emerging landscape. He saw the newly born beings. He felt the vast expanse of his dominion, yet a shadow lingered in his heart. His father's curse, a desperate prophecy, still echoed. You, Cronus, shall also be overthrown by your own child. This chilling pronouncement hung in the air. It was a dark promise for the future. Cronus dismissed the ominous words for now. He would rule wisely, he told himself. He would rule justly. He would never make the same mistakes as Uranus. He would ensure his power remained unchallenged. The stars began to settle into their new constellations. The cosmos slowly found a new, uneasy balance. The age of Uranus had truly ended. The age of Cronus, the mighty Titan, had begun. The world held its breath in anticipation. A deep quiet then settled. The heavens spun slowly, gently. No longer did Uranus's vast form press down. The air felt lighter, softer. A new breath stirred across the world. From the dark, wounded earth, tender sprouts emerged. Small, green shoots pushed through the soil. They reached towards the sky. The very ground seemed to sigh, a long, slow exhale. Cronus stood tall. His sickle, now still, rested at his side. A strange calm filled him. The heavy burden had lifted. He looked at his brothers and sisters. Their faces showed wonder. Rhea stepped forward. Her eyes shone softly. She touched his strong arm. The world breathes, she whispered. Her voice was like a gentle breeze. Cronus nodded, a quiet acknowledgement. The other titans gathered close. Oceanus, wide and deep, flowed serenely. Tethys, his gentle consort, reflected the new sky. Hyperion, the bright one, began to glow. His light was warm, not harsh. Cronus, with his sharp mind, observed the stars. Phoebe, his radiant sister, brought a quiet wisdom. Themis, the just, felt a new balance. Mnemosyne, the mindful, began to recall peace. Creus and Ipetus stood firm. They were pillars of this new age. Cronus, their king, felt a quiet pride. He had freed them all. He had brought forth this new beginning. He ascended a new throne. It was not of stone or gold. His seat was the very earth itself. It was strong and yielding. The sky, now a vast, open dome, was his canopy. This was the dawn of the Golden Age. Time flowed differently then. It was slow and unhurried. Days stretched out, long and peaceful. The sun shone with gentle warmth. The moon rose, a soft, silver lantern. Stars sparkled like scattered diamonds. They seemed to twinkle with contentment. The cosmos found its new rhythm. It was a serene, steady beat. Mortals lived without sorrow. They knew no toil or pain. The earth freely gave its bounty. Wild fruits ripened on every branch. Rivers ran with sweet, clear water. Honey dripped from the trees. There was no need for laws. No one knew greed or conflict. Hearts were pure and simple. Life was an endless, gentle dream. People people aged slowly, gracefully. Their hair turned silver like moonlight. They moved with quiet dignity. Sleep came easily, a soft drift. Death was like falling asleep forever. Then they simply faded away. They became benevolent spirits. These spirits watched over the living. They brought good fortune. They whispered wisdom on the breeze. Cronus ruled with a gentle hand. He was a good king. His reign was peaceful. His siblings helped him. They shaped the world with care. Oceanus guided the great rivers. Tethys nurtured the springs. Hyperion gave the sun its warmth. Phoebe gave the moon its calm. Themis brought balance to all. Mnemosyne held all memories. She kept the stories safe. Rhea, his queen, was kind. She loved all living things. She walked among the mortals. Yet sometimes Cronus would pause. A shadow, fleeting and brief, would cross his eyes. He would remember the prophecy. It was a quiet, persistent whisper. His father's last words echoed. You, too, shall be overthrown. The thought was a tiny stone. It sat deep in his heart. He tried to ignore it. He tried to forget. But the whisper returned. It was soft, almost unheard. It spoke of his future. It spoke of his children. He gazed at Rhea, his beloved. He loved her deeply. He loved the peace they had created. He loved the world's quiet beauty. He wanted it to last forever. He wanted to defy fate. So he held his breath. He held the world still. He hoped the prophecy would fade. He hoped it was just a dream. The golden age continued its gentle hum, but deep within him, a seed of fear had been sown. It was small, unnoticed. Yet, it would one day grow. It would twist his gentle heart. It would change everything again. For now, peace reigned. The stars shone brightly. The earth slept soundly. Cronus watched over his kingdom. He watched over the quiet, peaceful world. A profound stillness settled upon the world. The great, shimmering vault of the sky, once so vast and overwhelming, now felt strangely subdued. Its boundless reach seemed to shrink, ever so slightly. A hushed silence greeted the new dawn. Gaia, the ancient earth, felt this quiet change most keenly. A deep tremor had finally ceased within her very core. She breathed a slow, deep sigh. The heavy weight of an age-old sorrow began to lift. Yet, a new, subtle ache now lingered. Her son, Cronus, stood tall before her. The great sickle, still gleaming faintly, rested by his side. It was a tool of both liberation and loss. His broad shoulders carried a fresh, unseen burden. He looked out at the world. The stars above seemed to wink with a different light. They shimmered with a newfound freedom. No longer were they held captive by an unyielding gaze. A gentle breeze whispered through the newly quiet air. It carried the scent of wet earth. Cronus felt the cool air on his skin. He had acted with strength and resolve. His mother's plea had been answered. The dark, hidden places within Gaia could now breathe. Her imprisoned children might at last know release. Yet a chill touched his heart. He had challenged a father. He had changed the very fabric of existence. The boundless sky, once an oppressive force, now drifted, a shadow of its former self. This immense act could not be undone. Gaia reached out a comforting hand. Her touch felt like ancient roots. "My brave son," she murmured softly. Her voice was a low, resonant hum. "You have brought a new beginning." A tear slipped from her eye. It was a tear of complex emotion. It held both relief and regret. The world had shifted irrevocably. A cycle of dominance had been broken, but a new one might now begin. This was the way of all things. Cronus looked at his mother. Her wisdom was as deep as her mountains. Her love was as wide as her oceans. He understood her unspoken message. Power always carried a heavy price. This truth resonated within him. The sun began its slow ascent. Its golden rays touched the horizon. They painted the clouds in soft, hopeful hues. This was the first dawn of a new age. It was an age ruled by the Titans. The imprisoned ones, the Cyclopes, and the Hecaton chairs, still lay deep within Gaia's belly. Their chains had not yet been loosened. Cronus knew this was his first task. He must fulfill his promise to his mother. He turned toward the dark chasm. Tartarus awaited his command. The great, echoing prison would soon yield its captives. This was the true fruit of his victory. It was the justice they all sought. A sense of purpose filled his chest. This new era would be different. He would rule with a steady hand. He would bring order to the chaos. He would honor his mother's sacrifice. Gaia watched him go. Her ancient eyes held a glimmer of hope, but a shadow of concern also flickered there. Power could corrupt even the purest heart. This was a lesson for all time. The world stretched out before them. It awaited its new master. The forests whispered ancient secrets. The rivers flowed with timeless grace. Every creature seemed to hold its breath. Cronus descended into the depths. He moved with quiet determination. The air grew heavy and cold. The echoes of past suffering surrounded him. Yet he pressed onward. He reached the dark, iron gates. They stood silent and imposing. These were the gates of Tartarus. They guarded the forgotten ones. They held the world's deepest sorrow. With a powerful breath, Cronus raised his hand. The great sickle still lay outside, but his will was strong. He would tear open this ancient prison. He would set his kin free. A deep rumble vibrated through the earth. The very ground beneath him trembled. The gates began to groan slowly. They moved with immense effort. A faint light pierced the darkness. This light heralded a new dawn. It was a dawn for the forgotten. It was a dawn for the world. Cronus felt the profound shift. The universe was reshaping itself. He stepped forward into the gloom. The new age had truly begun. Its first act was one of liberation. Its first breath was one of hope. The world would never be the same. The vast, primordial cosmos had been reshaped. A new order was unfolding. The swirling mists of creation now settled into a quieter, more predictable rhythm. The universe breathed a soft, measured sigh, resting after the monumental shift. Cronus, the formidable titan, now sat upon the cosmic throne. He surveyed his new domain with a quiet, powerful authority. His golden crown gleamed softly in the dim light of dawn, marking a new era. His devoted consort, Rhea, watched him closely. A gentle hope filled her heart, for a new age seemed to begin. She envisioned peace stretching across the boundless, starlit heavens. Yet a subtle shadow soon fell upon Cronus's spirit. A creeping, insidious fear began to stir deep within his being. It whispered doubts into his mind, like a chill wind through ancient trees. He remembered his own bold deed. His father, Uranus, still haunted his thoughts. He recalled the prophecy that had foretold his own rise to power. The weight of destiny lay heavy on his shoulders. A chilling new prophecy reached his ears, rustling like dry leaves. It spoke of a son who would rise against him, just as he had risen. The cosmic cycle seemed destined to eternally repeat. This gnawing fear twisted his once clear heart. It clouded his powerful judgment, making him wary of all. His gaze grew distant, filled with growing suspicion. Rhea bore him many beautiful children, each a precious gift. First came Hestia, with her gentle, warming light. Then Demeter, the earth's nurturing spirit. Next arrived Hera, majestic and proud, destined for greatness. After them, Hades was born, lord of the unseen realms. Then came the mighty Poseidon, master of the surging seas. With each new birth, Cronus's fear intensified. He imagined the prophecy reflected in their innocent eyes. His paranoia grew, twisting every loving glance into a potential threat. A truly terrible decision was made, born of dread and paranoia. It was a choice that would forever ripple through time. His actions stemmed from a deep, unsettling terror. As each child came forth, Cronus consumed them whole. With a fearful gulp, he swallowed them, one by one. They vanished into his vast, cavernous being, seemingly gone forever. Rhea's tender heart shattered with each loss. Her silent cries echoed through the empty, echoing halls. Her tears flowed like sorrowful rivers, yet offered no comfort. Her grief was immense, a heavy, suffocating cloak. Her spirit withered with each child taken from her. But a desperate resolve began to harden deep inside her. She held her last unborn child close, a secret hope. A daring, desperate plan slowly formed within her mind. This precious child, she vowed, would be safe. He would escape his father's cruel fate, she determined. When her time came, Rhea journeyed far, far away. She sought the secluded, sun-drenched island of Crete. There, in a deep, hidden cave, she gave birth softly. her youngest son arrived, small and innocent. She named him Zeus, a name whispered with immense love. Instead of her son, she wrapped a large stone. She swaddled it tightly in infant cloths, so it looked like a baby. She presented this disguised stone to Cronus. His eyes, clouded by overwhelming fear, did not truly see. He swallowed the stone without a single thought. He believed his powerful lineage was now secured. Little did he know, young Zeus thrived in hiding. He was safe within the deep, silent cave. Nymphs cared for the infant god, their gentle hands nurturing him. A wondrous goat, Amalthea, fed him her rich milk. Her sustenance made him strong and vibrant. The Curites, fierce, loyal guardians, watched over him. Their rhythmic, thunderous dances masked his infant cries. They clashed their spears on shields, filling the air with sound. So, the secret of Zeus remained safe. Zeus grew strong and wise, hidden from his father's sight. He learned of the world's quiet mysteries. He learned of his true, divine heritage. The cosmos had found a new, dominant ruler. Cronus, the mighty Titan king, held sway. But a new dawn was coming, slowly, quietly unfolding. The seeds of future change were sown. They rested deep within the earth and in a hidden cave. For even in the quietest moments, destiny always stirs. It weaves its gentle, endless tale through time. And so, the world drifted into a new, hopeful slumber. The stars shone brightly, promising quiet dreams. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe for more peaceful tales from mythology.